For our project, Multicore Assembly, we decided to further emphasize on the re-urbanization of industrial production by forming multiple smaller independent fabrication spaces. In each independent assembly line, extracted artisanal motions are magnified to form curated stages of visitor experience, contrasting between the organic and inorganic logic of spaces. La Mazorco espresso machines is a machine used by customers with an artisanal approach towards coffee making, and we want to highlight the artisanal use of the product by translating motions into organic shapes. With the multicore concept, we divide the factory into 4 independent lines that offer flexible placement of masses on the site. In these assembly lines, there are 5 stages being displayed along a dedicated visitor path, considering view relationship, circulation, logistics, and most importantly, data extracted from motion capture. Based on the multicore concept, we combined work steps with the view analysis from motion capture to form the visitor toolpath. Framework assembly, round view on central stage to observe 360-degree complex motions and multiple parts. Dual boiler and hot production, quattro front view to establish visual link between the hot fabrication and the assembly. Piping and wiring, top view to observe 360-degree horizontal motions. Testing, interactive between worker and visitor on eye level. Casing, show moment of dramatic effects of shiny parts. The design of each stage is based on motion capture of visitors and workers that we took. Here we can see how stage 3 gets developed. We redefine the building envelope by expanding the boundary according to the motion of human body. We use the idea of superimposing frozen moments of people's movement in time. The shape expands more in areas where people stay for longer time. The workers' movement also gets reflected in the final shape. People vision is cutting away the floor. Railing is based on the ergonomics of people bending over when looking at the stage. On the ground floor, the visitors are able to have a shorter, self-guided tour across all the different assembly lines that are opening up to the courtyard. The museum, about the history of the brand, the workshop, and the shop, can also be visited detached from the full tour. Once the visitor enters up to the first floor, the full visitor tour begins. As a proof of concept for the view analysis, we will now show the experience inside each stage at the scale of the body. The first stage intersects between the museum and the first assembly line. A ramp gradually brings visitors up to the higher level. Railings invite visitors to go closer to the atrium. It is a pre-stage that prepares the visitors into a more exciting tour. This stage we call the quadro view. It is a stage we want to emphasize because La Mazorco is the brand that pioneered the design of dual boiler espresso machines in 1969 and raised the industry standard of espresso qualities with a more stable temperature. The visitor establishes a visual link between the hot production downstairs and the insertions of the 2 boilers upstairs. The finished hot product is transported through a rail at the back to the assembly. Stage 3 is the piping and wiring. The definition of ergonomics is further addressed in the interior furniture-like soft surfaces, which is derived from motion capture and integrated with the view experience. The last 2 stages are the testing on the right and casing on the left. Testing is the visitor's first experience to interact with the workers and the assembled machine. Casing is a highlight where the exterior cladding gets clipped onto the rack. Relative simple and spectacular to look at. The combination of motion-captured spaces and multi-core assembly concept resulted in amplified moments that showcases artisanal moves of the espresso machine with alternating exterior and interior experiences. To conclude, the multi-core assembly is a very naked project. All the circulations, stages, storages are exposed with their inherent logic. Just like when you open the case of an espresso machine, you start to understand the mechanics and ergonomy of every component that constitutes the operation of the final piece.